talking about the Saul effect in general because I'm seeing this happen in the nation as well. I'm seeing this happen to the highest seats in the land. So I'm not just talking about this for one reason or another. I'm talking about this because I'm seeing this happen up the ladder. I'm seeing this happen. I'm seeing this happen with certain parties. I'm seeing this happen in certain states. You're seeing the Saul effect. And you have to be careful of that because what was the last thing that happened before Saul fell as king? He lost his mind. Saul lost his mind. We see that happening right now at the highest seat in the land. Somebody is losing their mind, right? It's a sad thing to watch, but that's happening in the highest seat of the land right now. Saul is losing his mind. And that is an indicator, a very close one, of a changing of the guard. Of a changing of the guard. So this is why we have to watch this too. Think about it. This is not just for one thing. This has to do up to the highest seat in the land. So we're watching the same thing happen in the highest seat of the land right now. And you have to watch for that as well. But I wrote this 2 weeks ago. I just happened to feel led to talk about it now. Now, let me get in to the dream now. Because, well, there is a lot to this dream. So, this dream it looks like there's not a lot there, but there's a lot there. There's a lot there. Now, I have to tell you, when I had this dream, I sat on it and I called Barbara and I said, look, I had this dream. We need to talk about this because this dream is, there's something to it. It was, you know what I mean? Like I was sitting on it and praying and going, there's something to this dream. So I called Barbara and together we were able to decode this. Thank God Barbara was able to help me with this. We were able to pray. We were able to decode this. Okay, so here's the dream. Now, here's the dream. And let's just move on to the dream. Everybody in the chat, just let's move on. We've got business to attend to from the Lord tonight. So the dream happened on April 9th, okay? There was a room. There's a lot of wood in this room, okay? It was some kind of party going on. To my right was a very tall man. He was like 6'4", super tall. Could even been taller than that. And I asked about him. For some reason, I was focused on this man and found out he was a, quote, pastor, which represents something. Towards the back of the room, because there was a crowd, remember, the crowd clears. And for a moment, I see sitting in the back of the room, Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, looking like she might look now. She had a shorter haircut. It was to her shoulders. It was styled. She was dressed in more casual clothes. It was her. There was no denying it was her. So she's sitting in the back of this room, kind of hiding out almost. And I get to see her for a moment. Now, that's the only thing that happens with her. Cuts to the front of the room. To my left was a special Christmas chair. Now, how do I know this? I was told this in the dream. Red velvet with gold writing on it. It was a very special chair. And everyone in the room was buzzing about a birth, some sort of birth or announcement. But they wanted to make this special announcement from this Christmas chair. So after I'm waiting for somebody to come up and sit in this chair, I wake up. So I don't get to see who sits in this chair, okay, at the moment. Now, let's break this down because me and Barbara did this over a course of, I think, 2 or 3 days. We broke this down. Now, you have one that went down at Martha's Vineyard. Who went down at Martha's Vineyard? Okay, so JFK's plane went down, right? We know that. I know there's some theories out there about, he's not, we're not dealing with that tonight. She's a marker in this dream, and I'm going to explain. She's a marker. So you have a plane that goes down at Martha's Vineyard, or one that goes down, and then you have another trying to rise up from Martha's Vineyard right now, Obama. Both these events and people have a connection to Martha's Vineyard, okay? Now, interestingly enough, Obama lives in Martha's Vineyard, and that plane crashed in Martha's Vineyard, okay? Now, there's something to do with Martha's Vineyard and Christmas time. And Obama has something to do with this dream that has Carolyn Bessette in it, and this pastor who is significant too, okay? So whatever's going on is taking place in New England, okay? East Coast, New England. So this is something to do with what's coming and something to do with what went down. At the time of that crash, we're just going to say, Clinton was in office, then you had Bush, then you have Obama, then it skipped a cycle and the cycle broke because you had Trump go into office. Okay. You have many former candidates and presidents who have a house at Martha's Vineyard. Okay. So if we take that back to the dream, there's a birth of a child, we'll say, that they're going to present in the dream. Okay? There's a birth. Now, it doesn't have to be a physical child going on the chair, but a birth. There's something they're trying to deliver. Okay, let's put it that way. They're holding back on part of their plan, which involves Clinton, Bush, and Obama. Whatever we're going to find out, it looks like we're going to find out close to Christmas time. Okay? Which on our calendar would be December, right? November, December, around there. So Carolyn Bessette in the dream is like a conduit, okay? So she's there as a marker. She's there to show what is going to transpire at Martha's Vineyard, okay? What did transpire and what is going to transpire between the Clintons, the Bushes, and the Obamas potentially. So there's a lot of secrets that are going to be revealed on the New England coast, okay? So this is because this was centered on the New England coast. Now, Biden, he's not one of the masterminds in all this because he doesn't have a mind. So he's not, you know what I mean? His mind is not well. They're going to try to break all the rules of Obama, or with Obama. They're going to try to break all the rules. Now, go back to the dream with Obama and Biden that I had last year. The 3 separate shoes on the floor I talked about. Remember, I talked about there were 3 shoes in a row? 3 separate people plotting to take Biden down, plotting with Obama. Remember, Obama was at the head of the bed waiting for a certain somebody to pass on. So keep this in mind. And now let's go back to the Christmas chair, okay, in the dream. The Christmas chair, this is a seat to be filled, a seat that is going to be occupied. Somebody has to fill that seat. Somebody has to fill that seat. Someone in a very authoritative position has to fill this very special seat, okay? Something to take place around the holidays. Martha's Vineyard is involved. We're going to say that again because there's a lot of corruption going on in New England right now. And the baby, quote, baby, which is not a real baby, but in the dream, they want to take place, this plan they have birthed, right, and want to bring to deliverance. The baby they want to take that seat is corruptible. The seat that they want to announce to replace whoever has lost that seat is somebody they want that's corruptible. That's what the birth represents, okay? The chair was the only one of its kind in the room. It was a special chair. There was nothing like it. So they're trying to put someone in that seat that doesn't necessarily belong there. Look who is trying to do it. The people who hang out and live and party at Martha's Vineyard. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, though. This is their plan. They want to put that somebody in that chair, that somebody is corruptible. But it doesn't mean it's going to happen, because that pastor standing there, that 6'4", 6'5" pastor standing there, okay? Because that pastor is involved somehow. Now, this pastor could be an angel, and he's representing a pastor in the dream. It's not going to turn out the way they think. The pastor is on the right side. The chair is on the left, okay? The person they want to put in the chair, that's on the left. The pastor is to my right. Whoever takes that seat has to do with that one pastor that is standing to the right. So they have a person they want to take the seat, and then there's somebody else that has to do with this pastor, okay, that's standing in the room. So Carolyn Bessette is a marker. They went down, somebody is rising up. The question is there a relationship between her and the one who went down? Okay, so her and one that may go down, a relative that might be rising up to take the seat down the road. So somehow there's a correlation between her and this whole plan to put somebody corruptible in that seat that's going to be stopped, because there is another plan that God is involved in. Now, whoever it is that they wanted to put in the seat is going to succumb because it needs to be filled. Somebody who has authority once they take that seat. Now, the Kennedys are symbolic of someone who went down, because you had a lot of Kennedys that went down. Because the Lord is focusing on the people of this country and turning his attention to this country. This country and the next leader is going to set the stage for the entire world. The pastor to the right, we're going to go back to him, represents the right and the righteous, and represents what is going to be established in our country through and by the grace of God. Whatever is going on behind the scenes, and whatever went on behind the scenes to cause destruction to certain people who were meant to take office but didn't, the Lord thy God is not going to let this happen again. There is a conspiracy to take down a man who is trying to lead the country. The chair in the dream is empty because someone who is sitting in it is no longer in it, and now the one who is to sit in this chair has nothing to do with them. So they may be conspiring, but God's hand is in it. So it's almost like they had a person they wanted to take the seat. That is not going to work out. And then there's going to be somebody else that takes that seat instead. Now, the gentleman who will sit, and I said gentleman, who will sit in that chair will represent the world stage, because what he does will affect the entire world, whereas the last one who fell infected the entire world. Okay? What went down in the past in Martha's Vineyard is going to rise back up, not in the natural, but to be a leader that God has called to be for such a time as this, because it was not God's will for them to perish. So basically, what does that mean? What went down in the past in Martha's Vineyard in some way is going to rise back up. Now, we're not talking in the natural and about somebody marching back out in the open. We're talking about, because of what went down in Martha's Vineyard, something has to rise up now. There has to be a rising up because of what happened so long ago. Now, When they went down, God said, I will raise up a standard. For some reason, after that chair is empty, a man will fill it of great righteousness. Though they plot behind the scenes, it will not matter because God's hand is in it. Okay? So even though the chair is empty when I saw it, and they were all excited to announce and put somebody in the chair that is corruptible, a man of great righteousness will fill that chair, though they plot behind the scenes to stop it, because they won't, because God's hand is in it. Now, who this person is, I don't know. Like I said, this isn't a JFK Jr. is coming back dream. This is not what this is. She was put there as a marker for Martha's Vineyard and for what happened, okay? Now, someone is guarding that seat. Why they're guarding it, we'll see. When this happened, this will be a time of great celebration, seeing locks open up, seeing all these locks and lockdowns open up. That's what Barbara was seeing. There will be an account. They will be held accountable to me, says the Lord, meaning those that plotted to put someone else again corruptible in that chair. And right now, the Spirit of the Lord is raising a standard. So in the dream, you've got the chair and it's empty. And they are all excited because they think they're going to put one of them in that chair. But the Lord thy God is raising up and raising a standard.